The conquests of Alexander the Great have shaken the foundations of the ancient world, from the scorching deserts of Persia to the lush valleys of the Indus. His army has marched relentlessly, leaving in its wake a trail of glory and destruction. The Battle of Gaugamela, the Siege of Tyre, are just a few chapters in the epic saga of Alexander's campaign. But the greatest challenge yet lies ahead, the mysterious land of India, where the mighty rivers, treacherous mountains, and fierce warriors will test the mettle of the Macedonian king like never before. Join us as we continue the thrilling journey of Alexander the Great, as he ventures into the unknown, driven by his determined thirst for adventure and glory. In the last episode, we talk about how Alexander summoned the local chieftains to surrender, and Ambi, the ruler of Taxila, answered the call. Alexander's strategic marriage to Roxana secured crucial alliances and supply routes. With his general Amyntas guarding the region, Alexander embarked on the Kopan campaign. His mission was to capture key fortresses in modern-day Afghanistan and Pakistan, and how he finally claimed Aornis, his great conquest, securing his lines of communication across the treacherous Hindu Kush. In 326, after the siege of Hindu Kush, Alexander joined forces with King Ambi of Taxila, ready to take on the mighty King Porus of the Punjab region. The rivalry between Porus and Ambi was said to be historic, and Porus was determined to defend his kingdom at all costs. The two armies faced off on opposite banks of the treacherous Hydaspes River, their eyes locked in a fierce stare-down. Alexander's forces included 40,000 infantry, 5,000 to 7,000 cavalry, and 5,000 allied Indians. But Porus was not threatened by Alexander. He commanded an impressive army of 20,000 to 50,000 infantry, 2,000 to 4,000 cavalry, 1,000 chariots, and 85 to 200 war elephants. For days, Alexander's cavalry scouted the riverbank, searching for the perfect crossing point, while Porus mirrored their movements, ready to strike. The tension was heavy, the river swirling with anticipation. Then, in a move that was too risky, Alexander's forces made a breakthrough, crossing the river under the cover of a diversion by General Craterus. Porus discovered that Alexander had crossed the river, so he sent his son to stop him, but was killed by one of Alexander's generals. The main battle of Hydaspes was about to begin, and only one side could emerge victorious. The fate of the Punjab region hung in the balance as two of the ancient world's greatest leaders clashed in a struggle for dominance. The Battle of Hydaspes was a fierce and intense fight. Alexander's army had a smart plan. They attacked the Indian cavalry from both sides, causing chaos and confusion. The Indian cavalry tried to help each other, but the Macedonian cavalry was too strong. They attacked from behind and made the Indians run away. The Indian war elephants and foot soldiers then attacked the Macedonians, but they were met with a strong defense. The Macedonians formed the tight phalanx, making it hard for the Indians to break through. The battle was intense, with both sides fighting hard and suffering many casualties. Just when it seemed like the battle could go either way, Alexander's general Craterus arrived with more soldiers. Alexander saw the opportunity and led his cavalry in a bold attack on the Indian army's rear. The Indians were caught off guard and their lines broke. The battle was won, but at a great cost. Many brave soldiers had fallen on both sides. Alexander's victory was impressive, and he gained the respect of his enemy, Porus, who would later become a valuable ally and help him reconcile with Ambi out of admiration for his bravery and prowess. During the battle, Alexander the Great's horse, Bucephalus, had suffered a great wound. Alexander received Bucephalus as a teen and ridden him across Asia. Alexander the Great founded the city of Alexandria Bucephalus in his honor. Alexander continued his campaign, and other kings surrendered to Alexander until he got to Ephesus, known as the Bees River in the modern world, where his army refused to go further. His army disobeyed and begged. Alexander heeded, and they went back home. After Alexander stopped the rebellion in his army, he led his army down the Hydaspes River to define the eastern border of his empire. But two tribes, the Malians and Oxydracians, who were usually enemies, had joined forces to fight against the Macedonians. They had a huge army with 90,000 foot soldiers, 10,000 horsemen, and 900 chariots. Alexander's army had to fight another war, however, was ready to fight at any time, which was unusual for ancient armies. Alexander's army moved quickly, catching the Indians off guard. They used a clever strategy, crossing rivers and marching rapidly with different groups of soldiers operating independently. This trapped the Indians, who couldn't agree on a leader or a plan. The alliance fell apart and they retreated to their cities. Alexander went on to the capital of the Malians, making sure he finished what they started. The Malians tried to fight Alexander one more time, but they lost again. When Alexander's army came close to the city, the Malians ran back inside the walls. Alexander told his soldiers to dig under the walls, but he got impatient. Alexander climbed up a ladder onto the wall with two other soldiers. The rest of the army tried to follow, but the ladders broke. Alexander was alone and in danger. The Malians saw him and tried to kill him. Alexander's soldiers begged him to jump down on the shield, but he kept going deeper into the city. He killed the Malian leader, but got hurt by an arrow that hit the lungs. The Macedonians finally got into the city, saved Alexander, and carried him away. They thought the Malians had killed their king, so they were very angry and hurt many people. After being treated, Alexander's army continued his journey back home by leading his army through the Gardocian desert, but with a lack of food and water, many of the soldiers died. At 325 BC, when Alexander got to Persia, he executed some of his viceroys and governors for ruling unjustly and robbing temples and tombs. Then Alexander went to Susa, where he arranged a mass marriage for Macedonian officers to 80 Persian noble women and ordered 30,000 youths from across the empire to be trained in the Macedonian art of war. In 324 BC, Alexander's closest and most trusted friend, Hephaestion, died of fever, which led Alexander to grieve his friend for days without even eating and gave an order for public mourning across the empire. After the death of his friend, distant people came to recognize Alexander's greatness, and the likes of the Ethiopians, Libyans, European Scythians, Lucanians, Etruscans, Gauls, and Iberians. In 323 BC, Alexander's wife Roxana got pregnant. While Alexander was planning out his next campaign to Arabia and beyond, he developed a fever and died days later. It was said till now that nobody knows what caused the fever. Alexander had died but didn't leave the world without having an impact on it. During and after his death, Alexander's legacy lives on. The cities of Alexander founded, like Alexandria in Egypt, helped spread Greek culture, language, and ideas throughout his vast empire. These cities became important centers of learning and culture, shaping the world for centuries to come. Alexander's conquest opened up new lands to Greek influence, laying the groundwork for the Byzantine Empire and the spread of Christianity. His campaigns had a lasting impact on the world, inspiring future leaders and empires. In India, the powerful Maurya Empire rose to power, a direct result of Alexander's influence. Today, Alexander is still remembered as a brilliant military commander, and his tactics and strategies continue to influence military leaders around the world. His legacy extends far beyond the battlefield, shaping the course of human history in ways that still resonate with us today. Alexander's impact on the world is a lasting reminder of the power of vision, courage, and leadership. Thank you for watching. Kindly hit the like and subscribe button. For those of you who just joined, parts 1 and 2 are on my page. You can go back and check them out. Stay tuned for more exciting stories.